Hey everybody, welcome to Etrailer.com. I'm Bobby, and today we're taking a look at the Titan Chain mud service snow tire chains here on our 2021 Ford F-250. So this can be a very nice way of giving you that traction control that we're maybe looking for, and primarily, and we also want to have a little fun and go and find ourselves a little mud pit or something, or just take a little bit of overlanding or off-roading. Definitely gonna be able to have that traction that or get that traction that we're looking for. That way we have a good time no matter where we are. So we are gonna have a twisted link chain on here today. That's gonna give us just a little bit of more of an aggressive approach towards that snow and ice that we're gonna be encountering, and of course those big old mud pits. To that end, what's nice about them, they're not too aggressive, so you can find yourself putting these on in somewhere like a driveway or a garage. It's not gonna be like a V-bar stud that can potentially break it, making your installation maybe just a little bit easier, which is great. And to that end, if you are needing something just a little more aggressive and primarily looking for something to break up a lot of ice in your area, I would look at some V-bar support links. Those are excellent to really do a great job puncturing that snow and ice, but I think these are gonna be excellent. The twisted link are always kind of that nice middle ground of giving you just a little bit more while not being too aggressive. So we do have a ladder style chain here as well, and basically what that's going to create for us is kind of hills and valleys function. And what I mean by that, obviously we have our valleys here between our chains, and then where our cross chains are, that is going to be our hills. So that gives you excellent start and stop capabilities. I think that's why it's going to be really nice, even in this kind of muddy areas, because we can actually pull ourselves out of there, which is great, get that traction that we're looking for. And if you are comparing and utilizing this on some roads where that snow and ice might be, also going to do a great job of giving us that traction control that we're looking for so we can start and stop. The one thing I'll say to it though, if you find yourself having to accelerate a little bit more to actually get over these hills, so that can impact your turning radius just a little bit, so do keep that in mind if you are doing a little overlanding. Again, just a little bit more of acceleration, just take it nice and slow, and hopefully we're going to be safe out there. Now it is going to be made of a low carbon steel as well. Basically this starts pitting itself a little bit. It is kind of designed to have a little bit of wear to it, and that creates a little bit more friction for itself, which is great. However, it is going to require us just to have a little bit more maintenance with these guys to make sure they last us for the years to come. And especially if you find yourself in an area where we're utilizing a lot of chemical agents on there to make the roads a little safer for ourselves, it's going to be really important to spritz these down. That way we don't have any corrosive agents hanging on here for a while. Now you will notice we don't have any cams with this guy, and we have found ourselves a rubber tensioner as well, and that's doing a great job of just taking out that last little bit of slack that we have in our chain. And honestly, with this set of chains, I think it is kind of required, just because we're going to have that like half little bit of inch that we still need to take out of, and it does a great job of just pulling out that slack, making sure we have a nice conform fit on the wheel of our truck, which is great. Now, a couple things before we get into our installation. There are a couple things we have to keep in mind. Primarily, which set of tires do we want to throw our chains on? Well, a lot of us are probably going to be loading a lot of weight here in the back of our truck to hopefully give us a little bit more traction in the back. So that's one reason I might see yourself actually putting on the here. Now, if you do just have nothing in the bed of your truck, maybe towards the engine where it's heavier can be great. But especially for mudding, I think the back ones are going to be great to actually make sure we're not leaving our tail stuck in there somewhere, which can be awesome. Safest bet, always just go ahead, grab yourself 2 pairs of chains. That way you have one on the back and on the front, which can be great. And the other thing to take note, make sure you are putting your own tire size into the fit guide here at etrailer.com. That way you're getting the right fit for your vehicle at home. To begin our installation, what we want to do is just lay it out like so. What we're looking for here, any kind of kinks or binds our chains might be into. Now, of course, all we have to do, kind of pull them out, make sure they're all nice and aligned. What's pretty great, the twisted link usually doesn't have as much problem compared to things like having a stud on it. The big thing we want to take note of is making sure our hard points of contact or our folds here are actually pointed up and away, because we're going to be setting this on our tire, and we don't want this side making contact with our wheel, as that can end up puncturing it, deteriorating it, and we definitely don't want to do any damage to our tire. Once we've actually got that all situated though, we need to bring ourselves to the middle of our chain, and I like to just kind of put my arms in here and kind of wing it out with my elbows. And why I do that makes it just a little easier to avoid the rim of our tires, making sure they look good still, and begin setting this on our wheel. As I do so, I'm also making sure that my cross chains are as horizontal as I can get them, making sure both ends are kind of properly aligned on our wheels. And then we need to make sure that our connection points are in a good spot. So I'd like to just kind of pulling these guys here. That's looking good to me. Now we need to bring ourselves on the other side of our wheel to make our first connection. To do that, we're going to have this extra chainage here. We simply want to pull it around and put it into our hook on the other end. For today, I'm going to try this second position here. And the only reason why is I let it sit on here. It is sitting on the sidewall of my tire, which I love to see, going all the way to the top as well. Now we may actually have to change this because we still have to make our front connection. For now, we're going to go ahead, go to that second chain later on once we've confirmed the fit of our tire. If we do have any extra chainage, it's not a bad idea to go ahead and snip them off. That way you don't have it interacting with any of your strut here in the back of your wheel, or it can just create a kind of a noise complaint, which is never too fun. So later on, we do need to come back and snip this if we want to. But again, let's go ahead and make sure that we have the right fit. That way we have the necessary chainage we need. Now that that back connection is made, we simply need to take our extra chain here, slot it in, and bring it back, taking our triangle cam holder back into position as well. And we simply need to push in on that, and there we go. That'll hold it into position. One thing I noticed though, we definitely are still just a little bit loose. You can see I can almost fit a finger or so between my chains. So something we also probably need to do is go ahead and grab ourselves a rubber tensioner. Now, we do have some available here at Etrailer.com. Now all we need to do is simply grab ourselves that tensioner and slot it in, and much like a lug nut kind of set on your wheel, you kind of want to go across and distribute the forces evenly. Of course, now we're going to have 6 connection points versus your standard 5, but all we got to do, bring it up and around, try to distribute that as evenly as we can. And make sure that your hooks, of course, are pointed away. We don't want to interact with our sidewall there again, but that's done a good job. You can see it just taking out that last little bit of slack that we're having, pulling everything towards the center of our wheel. Now we have a very nice fit, and we're ready to rock and roll. Now I really do like the install for this, guys. They're not too hard to get. The one thing I will say, I'm not the biggest fan of that triangle holder here at the bottom, just because that little corner is making contact with our sidewall. Is it gonna do any damage? I don't think so, but it is something that I'd just be a little concerned about. So if I were you guys, I'd just check it, especially if you find yourself putting your chains on a lot. Let's make sure we're always checking that sidewall of our tire. Therefore, we're not gonna have any blowouts. Overall though, really, really nice system. The Twisted Link just does a great job of being aggressive, yet not too aggressive, making it a little easier to throw on in the garage, which is definitely nice because we don't find ourselves out in that snow and that ice, which can definitely be a problem. Definitely going to have to get ourselves a rubber tensioner, so that's something to keep in mind. There are going to be a lot of chains out there that do have a cam system. Now, personally, it's nice that we don't have to worry about our cams walking undone, but I just think they do a lot better of a job of making sure it's nice and tight on our wheel. Yes, we have a great fit on here, but if you're looking for something a little more secure, that can be a great option for you. Otherwise though, still gonna be a really nice chain, and especially if you find yourself trying to have a little bit of mud action, these are gonna be excellent. Otherwise though, guys, I think that about does it for our look here today at the Titan Chain Mud Service Snow Tire Chains on our 2021 Ford F-250. I'm Bobby, thank you for watching.